So you're a small business owner and you want ways to attract customers to you. We're definitely going to talk about that.
Absolutely cool, secret, innovative ways that this man will share with you. How to attract new customers to whatever your business may be.
Yeah, my experience in business is just figuring it out on my own. I did not get a degree in business or go to business school or anything like that.
Oh, wait a minute, stop. We can't do this. He doesn't have a degree in business.
But I've gotten customers. But I had to figure it out because traditional marketing or advertising was too expensive. And so I kind of figured out my own guerrilla marketing, or I would find something that would work and I would just refine it to keep getting that same result. So one of the things that I did learn and that I want to share, you've got all the features of your product or service that you offer, but what's more important to know and to talk to people about and to bring up is actually the benefits. So if I've got a widget, I can talk about the dimensions or the actual pixels or the apps or whatnot. But if I can talk about the benefit of how it saves time or it brings me fulfillment, or there's so many different benefits, and that's what connects with people emotionally.
Agreed. Yep.
So just learn to talk about your products or services in terms of benefits. Even if people say, "What do you do?" You don't say, "Oh, well, I make iPhones. I'm the guy that puts on the screen and I make the glass this thick and I add the lens." And it's like, okay, well, what do you do? Oh, I create stories. I help, if you're a movie maker, or what's the experience that you bring?
Always describe the benefits. That's what always sells anyway, are the benefits. What do people need and why do they need them?
Let me give you even a specific example. So if people ask me, "Nate, what do you do?" I'm not going to talk about, well, I set up my camera on my tripod and I hit record and I give people they give me an outline and I guide them through that and then I send it to my editing team.
Yeah, right.
I could talk on and on about that.
Yeah.
And that would be nerdy and maybe that would be fun for me to talk about if people are interested in that, but that's not gonna sell anything. So I talk about how I build a YouTube following, or I help influencers reach millions of people through their YouTube videos, or I help people monetize a small YouTube channel. And they'll say, what is monetize? And I'll say, well, yeah, we've got a small YouTube channel, but it's generating 7 figures. And they're like, yeah, so I make people money or something like that.
There you go.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what you do. Is you help people make money, you help them
grow their influence.
Another
thing that I found is if I keep my answers short, kind of leaving things still open, it'll make people intrigued and want to ask more. Like, oh, you're a YouTube producer? What is that?
Yeah,
and I'll still do that. It's like, oh yeah, well I do this and this. And like, well, I want to know more. So it's better than just vomiting all.
Yeah, just give them an hors d'oeuvre. Just let them nibble.
And I've made the opposite mistake plenty of times too.
Yeah.
So I mean, what happens when they say, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I do this and this." And I work. "Oh, have you heard of this guy?" "Yeah, I'm working with him." And they're like, "Okay, that's really cool."
Just drinking from the fire hose.
They're trying
Thanks so much.
I didn't want that long of an answer. I was just.
In general, what do you do? Yeah.
Okay. Can we get into some specifics?
I think that is what everyone is waiting for.
I actually want to share a LinkedIn marketing strategy. LinkedIn is great for B2B. Do you know what that is?
Business to business. Yes.
Good job.
Well, I know some things.
So LinkedIn is great when your target client is another business owner. That's the place where people kind of go to promote their business and what they're doing, and you can find your target audience really easy. Well, you can actually prospect and get new customers on LinkedIn pretty easy if you follow my advice that I'm going to share right here, because most people do the opposite, and the opposite is they try and sell right off the bat on LinkedIn, and it's just spam. It's just like going up to somebody, "Hey, here's my business card. If do you want to buy this?"
Right.
And that's what people usually do on LinkedIn. I see it all the time, and I don't accept their friend request or whatnot. But let me tell you what to do, and I'll just make it real simple.
Yeah.
If you were a potential customer of mine, and I found your profile on LinkedIn, I would send you a connection request. But I would not mention what I do. I would find something specific about you to compliment you on. And I would say, "I really like what you talked about in such and such video," or, "Hey, I saw you speak at such and such," or, "I saw you in this movie. I really like how you play this part of a role in these characters," or, "I saw you at Hill Center Theater," or, "I saw something on your profile or on your website And I really appreciate that about you. Keep up the good work. You're doing good stuff. I did something very specific. I sent out 100 messages like this. The first batch of 100 messages, I said, hey, this is the service that I offer, and tried to get them to engage with me. Okay? I had one person out of the 100, so 1%, that replied to me. They weren't interested, but they did. Only one person replied. So then I thought, okay, let me do another batch of 100, and I'm not going to try and push my services. I'm going to suggest a helpful video. Okay, I had one person reply. I don't know if they watched the video, but at least one person replied to my message.
Right.
Okay, now here's the huge one. On test number 3, I complimented them.
Now these are 100 different, every time, right?
So a third batch of 100 new people.
Different people, okay.
I sent them a compliment. I had 65 people responded to my message of a compliment. And so that said something. So I built out a whole system.
Yeah, it does.
I built out a whole system where my staff was doing it, and I would pick a certain group of people that had similar characteristics, and I would have my assistant compliment them all in a similar way. It was kind of templated. She would mix it up between a few different versions, but she would just start complimenting people. We sent out 125 compliments every single day, and enough people just from that, without me doing any follow-up, just from that, people would go and they'd read my whole profile on LinkedIn. They'd go to my website, they'd watch my YouTube videos, and then they'd reply to me. 65% of them, in their reply would say, wow, looks like you're doing good things too. I watched such and such a video. Do you offer this service? Or I went to your website. Or when I went to school, my original plan was to become a dentist. And clear down on my LinkedIn profile, it mentioned that I at one time wanted to be a dentist. But you had to read clear down.
Yeah.
And somebody replied and said, I thought it was so funny that you're originally going to be a dentist and such and such. And I'm like, this is crazy. All I did was compliment them, and it got them to read my whole LinkedIn profile, which is a sales page. This is what I do. This is what I offer. Here's how you can connect with me. So that LinkedIn is really powerful for that.
And so they had to send those one at a time. I mean,
yeah, that's why I hired my assistant.
That's why I had a staff doing it. That's a lot of work. I had never thought of that before. What a great idea. I
want to talk to you about kind of a ninja video tactic.
Ninja,
just because it's cool and it really works. And no one really does this. If there is somebody that you really want to get their attention, you'd really love to have them as a customer, just one person, instead of sending them a message of compliment, what could you do more to really get their attention? Well, you could make a custom video for them. So I'll give you an example. There's a lady named Jasmine Starr. She's a social media guru. Her background's photography, and I really wanted to get her attention. And Jasmine Starr, that's kind of a unique name. And I thought, okay, there's Jasmine Rice. I bet I could go over to Harmon's, a grocery store here, and find products that have the name Jasmine or Star in it.
Sure. Star-kissed. Yeah.
Starburst. There was a Star Fruit. I found Jasmine Tea. There was actually a brand of Jasmine Rice that was something Star, and so it had Jasmine Star right on the same package. I made this video, and I started it out. We happened to be at the Tulip Festival, and I was with my family, and I was just walking around with my camera. It's like, I've got this brilliant idea, but who do I share it with? And long story short, I go to Harmon's, and I show all these things that say Jasmine Star. I'm like, I know who I need to share this idea with. And I put this video, and I sent it to her. And do you think I got a response?
I hope so.
I wouldn't have made this video about it. I told you about it. She responded to me right away. She was
and
like,
this is someone you didn't previously know?
Oh, yeah. She's very well known. She's very successful.
But you didn't know her?
Yeah, we'd never met. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's somebody that I wanted to get her attention, and I made a custom video.
And it got to her.
Oh, yeah, and it got the exact response that I wanted. So I'm sharing like my secrets because it's like I found a way to get people to respond to me on LinkedIn, and then I figured out a way that they would respond. I could get their attention, even if it was a superstar. I could get their attention, and then I just figured out a way, okay, how can I scale it up? How can I automate it? So...
So this is, when you say ninja or guerrilla tactics, whatever, you're coming up with just inventive ways of using features that are already in place on free websites. You don't even have to get LinkedIn Pro or whatever to probably do the things that you're talking about.
That's correct. We'll talk about in another video, we're going to talk about Craigslist. And obviously, we talk a lot about YouTube. YouTube is the number one way to attract new customers. And so stay tuned for those episodes. But yeah, hopefully this video is helpful. So did you learn something in this video?
I learned something every time.
Think it was helpful for...
It would have to be. If this wasn't helpful to you, you just stop watching these.
Don't subscribe. Just leave right now. But if you did find value, then we're glad to have you here.